Maayan Aharonivitch, Monetization Economy Lead, Supersonic. Let's talk about how to monetize games.
Okay then, let's talk.
All right.
So
first thing, I want to I know you want to go already, but I want to tee it off. I'm really curious in what works in today's environment. Has that changed over time? Because it feels like hybrid casual games are just evolving so quickly.
That's definitely true, and I think when it comes to talk about monetization and what works, first of all, we need to understand that the first thing we need to have in a game is the motivation of the player, right? The motivation to win, the motivation to complete a level in a puzzle game or win a battle in a simulation game. We have to have a motivation for the player, and he needs to understand that. And I think that combining that with players' maturity, it's what makes the monetization work.
So basically, by maturity, you mean how long they have been playing the game, right?
Yes, exactly. So first, when a player starts to play the game, you want to make sure that they are feeling capable and they are able to win very, very early on. So once they understand the game, they're starting to understand the core loop and what motivates them, then that's the right timing to start slow things down, gradually, of course, and make sure that there are frictions of points when you can startly showing them what they need in the game in order to beat the first level, for example, or to win in a strike. And this is where we're coming in, basically. So maybe I can just give you an example.
Yeah, sure.
Let's say you have a game that the mechanic there is to unscrew screws.
Oh,
okay?
I've heard about it.
You've heard about it.
If you want to be like a screw master.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you want to be a screw master, listen to that.
Yeah, well, that's a long-term determination.
That's a great game, I have to say.
Okay.
So let's say you're starting to play the game and you already completed 200 screws out of 250, right? You're already very invested, very deep in.
Yeah.
That's where I start to slow you down and maybe offer you a booster or extra move to finish the game.
Yeah.
At that point, it feels like very naturally to offer you something in order for you to win the level. And that's where the players feels really comfortable once he understood the game and learned the game. Now we really want to finish because you're already very invested. So we usually show at those friction points something that feels more embedded, less than aggressive or interrupted.
Got it. So basically, in short, I'm playing a game, I'm getting closer to the goal, whatever is being set in that goal, and it requires either more skill or more time involvement to get there, or you can alternatively choose a monetization method, and in case of hybrid casual games, that could be in-app purchases, but that could also be watch an ad.
Of course, that can also be watch an ad, and I think that in hybrid casual we need to understand that it's really important to balance the both. Whether in casual game, right, you're mostly relying on revenue generated coming from in-app purchase, and RV has a small role in that sense. In hybrid casual, you want to make sure it's embedded into the core loop, ad monetization already from the beginning.
What's interesting about hybrid casual games, again, is because of there's two monetization models. And the goal is to increase the retention of the players. But at the same time, when you have a game that retains players for a longer time, the effect of ad monetization decreases because there's less value in showing ads to a player that is not converting to those.
True, but you don't want to look at those users in just two different segments. Whether you're an ad watcher or an purchase user, and those the only ways we can direct you into it. Because ad watcher can become a paying users, but also in hybrid casual, ad watchers can be ad whales. And we can always all the time, let's say, adjust the economy, adjust the events. So the ads that they are watching every day would still be meaningful. We have players that watch 20 ads a day.
Wow. But
we also have paying users who watch 20 ads a day. So in hybrid casual, this actually synergy is what makes it work.
So that's interesting part. So the segmentation in hybrid casual games, is it ever so that in more casual games or match games, let's say for example, once you start paying, you're not really seeing ads because they don't want to lose the payer to another game. But you're saying that in hybrid casual games, that type of a distinction doesn't exist, and you can become an ad whale and a regular whale at the same time.
That's true, definitely, and we adjust the economy according to it. Yes, we will make sure that the distinguish, or let's say the differentiation between watching an ad and paying would be very clear to the user, right? For example, you do want to make sure that the users understand that money gets you more, and money will get you a much more sustainable experience and a much more, let's say, permanent experience. What's really important in hybrid casual game is the fact that we always show to the users that, maybe he can grind the game through a rewarded video, but paying will give him more, and paying will get him to much more better points. And if I will, let's say, give an example, then let's say I'm having a simulation game. And I'm a player that plays versus these huge monsters that I really want to defeat. at a moment that the players feel like he's about to get defeat, I'll offer him an ad. Watch an RV to summon this one-time dragon that will help you beat the monster. I watch the ad, I get the monster, I feel super excited, I understand this value of the dragon, right, and what he did for me. And then after a few levels, when the player actually experienced that, I can tell him, yeah, listen, take this dragon for $4.99 forever. You can use it anytime you want in this match against this crazy monster. I'm showing to the user, and this is a powerful moment, because I'm showing to the users that what he already experienced within an ad, which was only 30 seconds of his time or whatever, he can get forever in just $4.99. So the important part, I think, when having a game that has to have both ads and in a purchase is to make sure that the player hits somewhat of a ceiling wall, right? It can only get you to a certain point. You can keep watching ads, but money will give you much more than that, much more sustainable experience and much more value experience.
And the reason for that is, just so if I understand correctly, is that you want to emphasize the value you get from in-app purchase, because that's a more long-term monetization strategy. As the retention goes, the value of the ads decreases and so forth, right?
Definitely eventually paying users will be worth more.
What's an ad whale then? Because, like, correct me if I'm wrong, like, if the value per watched ad decreases over time, then how can you be an ad whale? Like, does it go to me watching 250 ads, or like, to even keep the same amount of?
It depends on the game, of course, and how many ads a user can watch in a game. But in that sense, I think an ad whale is someone that is willing to watch 20, 30 RVs a day, and he does it every day on and on and on. And we should keep making those monetization moments of watching an ad still be valuable for the users, but we keep on showing them in a purchase, I think, opportunities.
What do you think about, like, some of the casual games, like the differences between casual game monetization and hybrid casual monetization? Just from the perspective of, let's say there are marketing campaigns that are showing that, hey, in this game there is no ads. Like that's an actual unique selling point for them that they want to advertise. They state to the player as they're acquiring players that there will be no ads in this game. So there's clearly a perception or a marketing study that shows that the players don't like ads. And then again, your business model is half of the ads and players watch them willingly, like they actually, do a rewarded video. So how do you balance this off? Like how does, and overall, like, what's the difference between casual game monetization and hybrid casual? Because they're getting so close.
That's true.
That maybe the production quality is the only difference right now?
No, not at all, basically, because even to have a successful hybrid casual game, you do want to make sure that it drives long-term engagement, right? And the users will come back to play every day. So it's not about production value at all. I think it's about, first of all, it's getting, let's say the lines are very blurry, as you said, in that sense, right? The same monetization tools and the same monetization mechanics stay the same.
Similar genres.
Exactly. You have to have a solid retention. You have to have solid economy. You have to have an addictive core gameplay. In that sense, it's no different. And I think the main difference is the type of users we're getting, right? Because casual games get, I think, users that are more RAP oriented. And in hybrid casual, we are not a mass production because that's hyper approach, but we are definitely taking users from both sides. The audience is really, there is a variety, let's say, of audiences. And yes, users definitely willing to spend their time on watching ads versus to pay, and they're still enjoying the game. And we really need to understand that we have to give them this experience in hybrid casual game. You have to support both ad watchers and IAP payers, but the experience will be different.
Do you feel like the lines are just going to get blurred to a point where there's no difference between what we call a casual game and a hybrid casual?
No, not at all, because eventually, as I said, it's really different audience. Not really different audience, but we have a variety of audience. In hybrid casual game, I think it could be a child, it could be a mom, it could be a dad, it could be a grandpa, and they know they don't will to pay never, but you still get a lot of money from them. In hybrid casual games, there are games that generate most of the revenue from ad, and I don't think that's going to change.
Interesting. We talked about segmentation briefly, and you said that there's really not that kind of a strict segmentation where, oh, you're not a paying user, hence we will just start bombarding you with ads. In hybrid casual, it just kind of continues the same way. What kind of a segmentation do you do then?
I have to say we do a lot of segmentation, and as I said, IAP and ad, it's the easiest part, and of course we do that, right? When you talk about direct monetization, showing offers to the users, then definitely we segment payers versus non-payers, but that's the easiest and let's say the smallest part in that sense. We take all users' behavior into account. And I think maybe what I would like to say that is a smart segmentation is segmenting the core gameplay. And if you talk about a level-based game, that's the easiest example I can get you, then you want to make sure you give different experience to different type of users. For example, let's say there is a game and you're super skilled player. You
Sounds
win
like
the level.
all the games.
And you're super skilled player, you win all the levels very, very fast. I don't want the game to be boring for you, and I want to make sure you're challenged and you're monetized. So for users like that, we definitely make sure that the level is a bit more difficult, and we increase the difficulty as well as according to the player behavior. But when we have a player that the game is very frustrating because it's too difficult for them, we want to make sure we segment those users as well. So first, it's about segmenting the core gameplay. Now take that, if I give you a good experience as a very skilled player and also a good experience for the very weak player, and I add to the point and I add the near miss feeling. So both of you are monetized, both of you are enjoying the game, and that's core segmentation. You can give a few difficulties, right, of a level to all type of audiences you have.
And when you do segmentation, so do you create those segments, like I'm just curious on like a very detailed level, like are those segments created by hands in a way, like that on the back end you put it in your live ops platform and you create different segments based on the data you're seeing? Or are you in a point where you're getting closer towards personalization, so based on the user behavior that dynamically tunes the difficulty?
100% the second one. Definitely a personalized experience. It's not something that is handmade, handcrafted at all.
I've seen that. It looks like a circuit board.
Exactly. And we don't want to do it and we don't want to avoid it. And we are avoiding it. And actually we're doing it from the start, meaning we understand what's the value of core segmentation. For example, we have economy manager that works like it's an art, right? To segment in a core loop of a game. We have the data analyst who's helping the economy manager creating those models and those experience to the users, and it's definitely automatically and personalized.
Okay, so let's talk about game economists. Like, in my experience, there are like these magicians that are always missing. It's like, oh, we just need to balance it. Let's just bring in game economist. And like, what does a game economist do? Like, what is their role really?
Magician.
Yeah, that's how they
First
sell
of all,
themselves.
they make magic.
I understand. That's how they command the higher payments. but in practice, like, and at what point you really need a game economist?
That's a really, really good question. So first of all, the job of a game economist is first of all creating a balanced and a solid core gameplay that the game would be rewarding and fun, but also scalable and profitable, right? So they have to balance those things together all the time. And it's a really, really work of art. And it's actually starting from the beginning, let's say, especially like, when we work with developers and one might think, a developer might think, I see a game in the top charts, right? It's a really good game. I have the same core mechanic. Let's copy paste their economy and that's it. I have well-balanced games.
Same levels, let's go.
Let's go.
Art.
But that's far from being true because economy is something, first of all, that needs to be attached, as I said earlier, to the audience you have. And the type of audience you have will definitely affect the economy you're doing in your game. And it's not just to balance the core loop, as I mentioned before, it's the prices and the events and the live ops that we're doing that should fit different type of audiences. And that should come very, very early on because it's not just something that lives in a spreadsheet, right? It's evolving with the game according to evolution of the game. When you add a new feature, when you add a new event, when you add a new thing to the core loop, add another currency when the player is progressing. You have to always evolve the economy. So it's something that is evolving and it's always living in the game, and it's definitely a work of art in that sense.
When does a game economist come to a project? Because you work with external studios.
Sure.
Is it the first thing? Is it the second thing? Is it towards the end? Like, when do you start the balancing process?
As early as possible, but I tell you like that. We work with different type of developers, right, and different type of studios, and they are very different in their sizes, let's say, but also different in their skills. So some developers have a great skill to create a really good game, but they're lacking UI UX, so we help them with that. And also some developers can have a really good draft of economy. And then we can get that and we can start putting layers of monetization, but eventually we'll have to walk hand in hand. And in Supersonic, we started very, very early on and we work together with the developers and we think together about the sinks and sources and about the currency. So the earlier the better, because that will be a part of the validation once we even just do a small soft launch of a game.
Well, how about talking about soft launch? A lot of the times when I've worked on games, or when I'm working with game teams that work on games, they like to think this step-by-step approach of building a game. And not building a game, but launching a game. So they start off with like, okay, we're going to put the game out. First, we want to focus on day one. We're going to work on the tutorial. We're going to work on this. We're going to work on that. Then we're going to go day 1 to day 3, drop rate. Then we're going to fix that. Then we're going to focus on day 7. Then we're going to focus on day 13, and then day 30. And then we're going to add monetization. And then we're going to add marketing. What's wrong with this type of a thinking of like step by step, which is easy for the game team to focus, because there's only one thing you focus on at the same, like only one problem to solve. Is this a wrong approach?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
But I totally understand why this approach even exists, because it makes sense, right? It's the right order. First have a great game, addictive game, great core mechanic, then monetize. First get the validation that your game is fun. But monetization is not just about fun, it's about validation of the even potential of the game. Let's say if you have a game without monetization, if you have a game that spins should be the main drive of the users, if you won't have that need for extra spins, then the game would be boring. So it has to be embedded from day one. And in that sense, in hybrid casual, we don't have the luxury of doing this slow pacing as you described. We need to understand if the game is valid, and if the game CPI would be just a number, right, without having LTV. So imagine yourself a game that has no monetization at the beginning. You wouldn't even understand, what does that mean if this is my CPI then?
There's no ROAS.
Exactly, there is no ROAS. And once there is no ROAS, there is no reason to understand what's the potential of the game. Can it be profitable? Can it scale? And we have to make sure that it's embedded from day one in order to understand that, because that's the luxury that hybrid casual doesn't have, right? You need to understand the potential first, and you need to see signs early on of where if the user is able to monetize.
So you're basically working on all the problems at the same time? Like all the choke points of a game?
Definitely. It's not working on all the problems at the same time. It's building them correctly from the beginning. So it's not like we try not to get to a point when we solve a problem. Obviously, that would be the dream is to build it together. And this is what we do. We actually have monetization manager, for example, an economy manager, and a data analyst. Those 3 things together with the game designers, together with the developers from the very beginning.
What's the difference between monetization manager and economy designer?
A huge one.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Because even though the monetization manager is maybe the one who's coming up with the strategy and the events, the economy manager has to support, and he has to support it. He has to balance and to make sure that the offers that the monetization offer is offered at the right time, to the right segments, in the right trigger points, in the right way, let's say in the right place when we need to tackle the user. The economy managers know to tell you when the player is about to lose, or when did the player abandon the game, when the balances are off, when sinks and sources come in, then definitely it's very different.
How do you know that the game economy is working well? Like, I know when it's not working, when there's an abundance of a currency that you can't put anywhere. Like, we all know those points, or where it doesn't make any sense to do something because you just have too much of that reward. But when do you know that it's really, really good?
You know when it's not good, first of all, when the game is flat, right? And nothing happens. And even if you have, let's say, a certain run rate of a game, it doesn't change at all. So you know the collaboration is not working well. It's definitely no one's fault, no, it's not just one person. But you know when it's working well when you see that not just the revenue goes up, but the conversion of players is going up, and the amount of ads a user watches getting up, or the amount of paying users that not watching ads anymore, or paying more than once, twice, or third time. The really important thing is to understand that it's not just one-time conversion, and a good economy manager will know to tackle this point, right, of a one-time depositor versus multiple time.
And last one on this one, like, how do developers work with your team? Do they just come in, okay, core loop is good, we got a good engagement on this, now monetize?
No. Usually no. We work together because we built the game together. And the point basically in that sense, let's say, is to have a layer of monetization on top. But again, we work together because we have to design the game experience with the economy and monetization. So it cannot work, let's say, as 2 different departments.
Just like build and then market.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay. So just to summarize everything, what are the 3 misconceptions that people usually have about the monetization of hybrid casual games?
I think the first one that I really like, and I've came to learn like myself, that it's like a huge misconception, is the fact that a successful game has to have, a hybrid successful game, has to have a ratio, a sort of a ratio, right, between in a purchase and an IAA. 50-50 will work best. No, 70-30, 60-40. That's like all of that like doesn't matter at all. There is no formula of what works in that sense of the ratio. It's about knowing your audience and knowing the game mechanic and what works for that game. And in some cases, you can have a huge revenue coming from ads, and that's okay if the balance works.
What else?
I don't know, I think hybrid casual is generating low value payers, right? The payers could be, it's just a one-time payer or a two-time payers, and that's it. And you're still going to rely all your money on those one-time purchases, and that's far from being true, and we cannot even build a game like that or even think about it as a goal, because otherwise we will only rely on new users, right? Like hyper casual. The really, really important thing is to build a game that have a long engagement, let's say, right? A long-term engagement. So you do want to make sure, and our goal is always to make the paying users not to pay just once or twice. We want to make sure that there are multiple purchase payers. So no low value in that sense.
I can add a third misconception that I just had, which was that players can be either ad watchers or payers. But you're saying that essentially there can be both at the same time and even on a higher level.
Definitely, and you want to live with that synergy. You know, you want to live with that, because this is all about hybrid casual. Paying users can watch ads and still pay a lot, and ad watchers can eventually become a paying users. And if we would put those users in a box, right? You're paying users and you're ad watcher, and that's it. Then we will miss the option to overlap.
Yeah. Maayan, one thing that I'm just stupid. I can't understand this. How can somebody be an ad whale? Because the way I understand, I think I've said this before, is the more ads you show to a player, the less valuable they will be over time, because you're just not seeing that person converting. But you're saying ad whale. So please explain to me, what is an ad whale?
Okay, so the strategy we use for ad whales, right? Because we do want them to watch ads, but definitely, as you said, to a certain point, it's maybe not as generating revenue as it is. So we cap the RV. Basically what we do for specific placements, by the way, that we know that those placements are generating the most, like the highest ad whales possible, then we cap it. We make sure that the user experience would be, I can watch this and that amount of RVs, but at a certain point we cap the RV, and then a user needs to decide whether I'm waiting or paying in the store. And this is a great conversion point, by the way. So you can be an ad whale, but it's also a great mechanic in order to convert you to become a paying user.
Got it. So as a simple example from a game, let's say it's an RPG type of a game, and it's a level based, and I'm fighting if I die, I can revive myself by watching a video ad. But what you're doing is, like, you can watch once, maybe twice, and now you're run out of rewarded videos to watch to resurrect yourself, so you can buy premium currency to continue doing this.
100%.
And that way you're throttling the rewarded videos, and you're basically using it as a way to convert players to go to payments, or you are essentially increasing their retention because they come back the next days when the rewarded videos have again picked up, and they're not allowed to watch that many videos, which doesn't decrease their value.
You said it amazingly.
I could be a member in your team.
You could.
All right. Well, now I understand it. Okay, thank you so much for the explanation.
You're welcome.